I'm 76 and still sharp. These 5 mind games changed everything. Have you ever walked into a room and completely forgotten why you went in there? Maybe you found yourself searching for your glasses only to realize they're on your head. It happens to the best of us. And if you're over 70, you might be wondering, is this just part of getting older, or is there something I can do to stay sharp? Let me tell you something that might surprise you. Your brain is like a muscle. It loves to be challenged, stretched, and worked out. Just like taking a daily walk keeps your legs strong, playing the right kind of mind games each day can keep your memory, focus, and mental speed in top shape. And no, I'm not talking about complicated math puzzles or trying to remember all the U.S. presidents in order. I'm talking about fun, simple activities you can do from the comfort of your favorite chair. Games that actually feel good to play, and better yet, keep your brain firing on all cylinders. Today we're going to talk about 5 of these powerful little brain games, easy to do, enjoyable, and proven to help you think more clearly, remember better, and even feel more confident day to day. And don't worry, I'll guide you through each one, step by step, so you can start right after watching this. Let's begin with something surprisingly effective, a memory walk. No, not a physical walk. A memory walk is something you take in your mind. Here's how it works. Pick a place you know really well. It could be the house you grew up in, your first workplace, or even your favorite grocery store. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and try to walk through it in your mind. Imagine the door, the hallway, the furniture. Picture the color of the walls. Feel the texture of the carpet under your feet. Try to remember what was hanging on the walls or what was on top of the fridge. What sounds would you hear? What smells might have been in the air? This isn't just a pleasant trip on a memory lane. It's a powerful mental workout. You're engaging your visual memory, spatial awareness, even your emotional memory. And every time you do it, your brain gets just a little sharper. Plus, it feels good. It reconnects you with parts of your life that might otherwise be collecting dust. Now let's switch gears to something a bit more playful. You ever play word games when you were younger? Maybe with your grandkids? Well, word association chains are one of the simplest and most fun ways to keep your brain buzzing. All you do is pick a word, any word. Let's say you start with apple. Then say the first word that comes to mind, maybe red. Then from red, maybe you think of rose. From rose you get garden. Then butterfly. Keep going for as long as you can. Try to challenge yourself to go for at least a minute without stopping. And if you get stuck, that's okay. Pause, take a breath, and pick a new word. This game helps you strengthen connections between thoughts, builds vocabulary, and sharpens your ability to shift gears mentally. Over time, you might even notice it's easier to find the right words in conversation or to recall names and faces more quickly. Another lovely part of this game, you can do it out loud or silently. You can do it while watering plants, waiting for the kettle to boil, or even during a commercial break on TV. And if you do it with a partner, it becomes a fun challenge. Just try not to laugh when they say something totally unexpected. Now, speaking of challenges, let's talk about mental math in real life. I know, math might not be your favorite subject, but I promise we're not diving into algebra here. This is about doing simple, everyday math problems in your head on purpose. Let's say you're reading the newspaper and see that a store is having a 25% off sale. Take a moment and calculate what 25% off of 40 would be. Or try to add up the price of your groceries before you get to the checkout. Can you do it in your head? Maybe not perfectly, but trying is what matters. Even something as simple as figuring out what time it will be 45 minutes from now, or subtracting the birth year of a loved one to figure out their age. These tiny mental efforts light up parts of your brain that control focus and problem solving. And if you make a mistake, that's okay too. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is to keep your brain engaged, to let it know you still rely on it, that it still matters. And when your brain knows it's still needed, it responds. It stays alert, flexible, and sharp. Now here's something you might not have thought of as a mind game, but it's one of the best there is. Storytelling from memory. Not just any story, but stories from your life. Pick a moment. It doesn't have to be big. Maybe the day you got your first car, Or the time you cooked Thanksgiving dinner for 20 people. Close your eyes and try to remember every detail. What were you wearing? What music was playing? Who else was there? What did the food smell like? Then tell that story out loud if you can, maybe to a friend, a grandchild, or just to yourself. Telling stories activates memory, language, emotion, and sequencing, all major parts of the brain working together. And you know what? It's incredibly comforting. It reminds you that your life is full of rich, beautiful chapters, and every time you recall one, you give it new life. Sometimes when people feel like their memory is slipping, it's not because the memories are gone. It's because we've stopped reaching for them. These little storytelling sessions are like turning the key in the ignition of your mind. It starts everything back up again. So as you can see, these aren't games in the traditional sense. There are no scoreboards or timers, but they're powerful, they're fun, and best of all, they remind you that your mind is still alive, still growing, still full of spark and strength. Let's keep going, because we've only just begun. You know, one of the things I hear most often from folks in their 70s and beyond is, I just want to feel more present. Not scattered, not forgetful, not lost in a fog, but truly there in the moment. That sense of clarity, of knowing where your mind is and being able to steer it. That's something we can absolutely train. And one of the best ways to do that is with something so simple, you might just smile when you hear it. The 5-item recall challenge. Here's how it works. Pick 5 random items from around the room. Maybe it's a book, a coffee mug, a pair of glasses, a pillow, and a pencil. Say each one out loud to yourself slowly. Picture them in your mind. What color is the mug? How thick is the book? What kind of pillow is it? Soft or firm? Now here's the fun part. Leave the room. Go fold a towel, pour a glass of water, look out the window for a moment. Just distract yourself with something simple for about a minute or two. Then come back and see if you can name all 5 items, in order if possible. Can't remember one? That's okay. You're training your brain to hold on to short-term information and retrieve it. Something that often fades as we age, but it absolutely can be strengthened. And if it gets too easy with 5 items, make it 6 or 7, or make a little story out of them to help lock it in. The glasses were reading the book while sipping coffee from the mug, then leaned on a pillow and wrote with a pencil. It's silly, yes, but silly sticks. And the more playful the challenge, the more your brain loves it. This kind of mental exercise has a beautiful bonus. It helps improve your attention span too. Because in order to remember, you first have to notice. You have to be present enough to take in the information. And that alone makes a big difference in everyday life. Whether you're remembering a conversation, where you left your keys, or what you meant to grab from the fridge. Now let's move on to something a bit more visual and surprisingly powerful. I call it picture shuffle. It's especially helpful if you're someone who loves photographs, art, or just observing the world around you. Pick a photo, any photo. It could be an old family snapshot, a vacation picture, or something from a magazine. Look at it for exactly 30 seconds. Really look. Notice the colors, the shadows, what people are wearing, what's in the background, how many trees, how many faces. Then turn it over or set it aside. Now try to describe it out loud. How many people were there? What color was the sky? Was there a fence? What was the woman on the left wearing? This is a workout, not just for your memory, but for your powers of observation. It sharpens your brain's ability to take in detail, hold it, and retrieve it. Skills that serve you in every corner of life. You can even turn this into a fun little competition if you're with a friend or grandchild. Look at the photo together, then each of you try to describe it from memory. Who got the most details right? Who remembered the funny face in the background? You'll laugh, you'll think, and best of all, you'll engage. And engaging, that's the real secret. You see, mental sharpness doesn't fade just because of age. It fades when we stop using it. When we go through our days on autopilot without being truly present. These games, these little challenges, they pull us back in. They wake us up to the world around us and the one inside our own minds. But there's one more mind game I want to share with you today, and it's perhaps the most powerful of them all because it connects your brain with your heart. It's something I call gratitude recall. Now don't scroll away just yet. This isn't a generic be thankful tip. This is an exercise, a deliberate daily practice that lights up the emotional centers of your brain, improves memory, boosts mood, and has even been shown to reduce symptoms of depression and anxiety. All by doing one simple thing. Every evening, just before bed, sit quietly and ask yourself, what are 3 very specific things that made me feel grateful today? Not general answers like my family or my health. Get detailed. My grandson's laugh when he told me that silly joke. The warmth of the sun on my hands while I watered the flowers. The way the soup smelled while it simmered on the stove. Then go one step further. Try to remember how those moments looked, sounded, and felt. Replay them in your mind like a movie scene. The more detail you add, the more your brain engages, not just the memory centers, but your emotional regulation, focus, and even your sleep cycles. This game works in reverse too. Some evenings, when nothing special stands out, try reaching back in time. What was a meal I loved when I was 10? What was the most peaceful moment from my last vacation? These little scenes are like anchors. They remind you who you are, what you've lived, and what still brings joy, even in the smallest of ways. You'd be amazed how this one simple practice can shift your entire mental landscape. People say they feel clearer, happier, even more connected to those around them. And that's the magic of the mind. It responds to attention, to effort, and most importantly, to care. And that's really the heart of all this. You don't need to memorize phone books or take brain pills or do hours of Sudoku to keep your mind strong. You just need to show up for yourself. Give your brain a little love, a little challenge, a little spark of something new or old or even silly. Because your mind is still your greatest treasure, and it's never too late to shine it up. Let's keep going. One of the greatest truths about life after 70 is that it reveals things more clearly. We begin to see what really matters. Not the rush, not the noise, but presence, purpose, connection. And all of that starts in one place, the mind. So far, we've explored some truly enjoyable ways to keep your brain young, little games and habits that might seem small, but make a world of difference. There's just one more I want to share with you, and it's one I hold close to my heart. Because it combines memory, focus, creativity, and something we all need more of, imagination. Yes, imagination. The same thing you used as a child to turn a stick into a sword or a box into a castle. That spark, it never goes away. It just gets quieter if we stop listening. But the moment you give it attention again, it lights up. And when it does, it keeps your brain active, alive, and young at heart. The game is simple. I call it what happens next. Here's how it works. Choose any story. It can be from a book, a movie, or even a real memory. Then pause it in your mind and imagine a completely different ending. Let's say you're thinking about the time you missed your train on the way to visit a friend. What if instead you caught the train and met someone new on it who changed your whole day? Or maybe you're remembering an old movie you are of. Try to imagine how it would unfold if one character made a different decision. What this does is stretch your brain's ability to form new pathways, new connections between memory, logic, and creativity. It keeps your neurons firing, your problem-solving sharp, and your curiosity alive. And don't be afraid to get a little wild with it. Maybe in your version, the quiet neighbor turns out to be a spy, or the dog you had as a kid could talk and gave you life advice. You're not trying to be right, you're trying to let your brain play. Play, by the way, is not just for children. It's for anyone who wants to stay vibrant. Studies have shown that imaginative exercises like this one can help delay cognitive decline and even improve executive function, the part of your brain responsible for planning, attention, and decision-making. The best part? You can do it anytime. Sitting on the porch, lying in bed, even during a commercial break on TV. Just ask yourself, what happens next? And let your mind wander freely. And if you want to take it a step further, try writing it down. Just a paragraph or two. That simple act of turning thoughts into words gives your brain a beautiful, gentle workout, one that leaves you feeling more connected to your own inner world. Now let's take a breath. You've made it through 5 powerful, enjoyable, and scientifically backed ways to keep your mind sharp. And I want you to take a moment to feel proud of yourself, not just for watching this far, but for caring, for investing in your own mental wellness. Because that's what all of this really is. It's an act of self-love, protecting your memory, your focus, your mental speed. It's not about avoiding aging. It's about embracing it with clarity and strength. It's about showing the world and yourself that you are still here, still thinking, still learning, still growing. Let's be honest. There are plenty of things in life we can't control, but the choices we make every day, they matter. And when you choose to challenge your brain, to play, to remember, to reflect, you're not just protecting your mind, you're celebrating it. So what should you take away from all this? That your brain loves to be used. It craves engagement. Whether it's revisiting old memories, doing a word game while folding laundry, or imagining a new ending to a familiar tale, every small action adds up. It's okay to have days when you feel foggy. We all do. The point isn't perfection. The point is practice, consistency, curiosity. You don't need fancy apps, expensive courses, or hours of effort. Just a few minutes a day of mindful activity, done with joy, can make all the difference. Now, before we go, I want to remind you of something truly important. Your story isn't over. Your mind is still capable of wonder, insight, and wisdom that younger generations need to hear. There is power in your perspective. There is beauty in the way your thoughts still move, shape, and inspire. So keep playing, keep laughing, keep stretching your imagination and exploring the corners of your memory. It's never too late to strengthen your mind, and it's never too late to surprise yourself with what it can still do. If this video spoke to you, I'd love to hear from you. What's one small mental habit you practice every day? Or maybe you've got a favorite memory game or tip to share. Drop it in the comments. Let's build a community where we support and uplift one another. And if you found this helpful, be sure to give the video a thumbs up. It helps others find it, and it lets us know you'd like more content like this. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, because there's so much more we're going to explore together. Mind, body, heart, and spirit. Here's to living fully, thinking clearly, and embracing every single day with a sharp mind and an open heart. You've got this. We'll see you next time. And until then, keep your mind in motion and your spirit alive. Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. If this video gave you something to think about or made you smile, please give it a like, share it with a friend, and don't forget to subscribe for more wisdom every week. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below and join the conversation. Your voice matters. Your story matters. Until next time, stay wise, stay kind, and take care.